Is there a law, now I'm taking a leaf from your argument, is there a law that prohibits her besides the technology?
No, there's no law. There's no law. But now she has other roles to play.
Let's talk about the ethics again.
Yes. But that one is...
You would think it's unethical, right? To take advantage of...
But there's no law. We are full term.
And
in fact, when we thought that it is finished,
yeah,
the same allegation of 2021
yeah,
resurfaces that she is not fit to hold office.
Why do you think people are raising issues here?
Look, I will tell you about the basic. First and foremost, Principal and Vice Chancellor does not sit in any tender committee. She does not. Yes, she will approve certain thresholds.
But to say Ramaphosa is involved, and I tried to check who's Ramaphosa. Oh, Douglas. Douglas is the guy at Kuru, and is the young brother of Cyril Ramaphosa. What are the links there, and what was he supposed to get from the university?
Look, I just heard about the name Douglas Ramaphosa maybe last week or so.
Yeah.
I've never ever knew the name, and I don't know the guy. And even his links with Unisa, I don't know any link. You know, if it happens, we've got close to 400,000 students. If we were to print, you can imagine the paper that we use on a daily basis, photocopy machines that we use, the phone calls that we make, and put money next to what I'm saying. Then you will realize that interest is huge at that. And we've got multiple.
Machine Political Incorrect, I just want to welcome you to this podcast that explains, well, hopefully it will explain for you the intricacies that are involved in higher education. I have seen and at first I thought at first glance it could be that these females are targeted because South Africans are not ready to accept high profile women in academia. Professor Mokgethi Motlhabi is an example of how she was rejected in Stellenbosch after having a stellar term, and she unceremoniously left Cape Town, and she was not accepted in University of Limpopo, and we have female vice chancellors leading in Sefako Magatu in Garankuwa, Pretoria, and we have Unisa. What does this mean? What does all of this mean? Let's unpack it. I hope you understand how we research this topic, and for many other things that we could not touch, like your Stellenbosch, it is just because of how difficult this topic is. People have lost their lives and infrastructure has been lost. And the professor from Unisa, Bibi Snukwan, will explain to you how difficult this exercise has been. Machine Political Incorrect. Thank you very much. Enjoy. Machine Political Incorrect. We've had interesting news coming out of the University of the People. Prof, you call it University of the People, right?
No, we call it University of the Land.
University of the Land.
Yes.
This university has nicknames. By the way, I'm an alumni there at the University of South Africa. I've been trying to compare what I've been hearing around, and I'm very happy they were very kind to when I contacted the media guys there at Unisa to understand. And like what's happening, by Unisa. You've penned the report. It's a statement. The principal seems to be under attack. And I remember, one of the most famous academics in South Africa is called the FEB academic. Her name is Professor Mokgethi Motlhabi. She's struggling, but well, I don't think she would admit that she's struggling, but I think when she was leading in Cape Town, she wasn't removed proper, and I know a lot of females are not happy with how women are treated in academia. I know Mokgethi was at some point, people were saying, I think the University of Limpopo said she's not fit, or it's not the kind of person that they want. And I was like, man, Prof. I mean, so if they don't want her, if they don't want Mokgethi, I mean, who are the other people that they may want in South Africa? And when this story broke, I actually realized that what if there's a right brand of academics that suits certain academia that they will not comply with? Are these attacks because she's a black female? Mokgethi, just close it for me before I start with the Unisa principle.
Look, we must not isolate the institution of violence in universities. Call it colleges, TVET colleges, private colleges, and now the CETAs.
Yes.
You can't isolate them from the reality of the world and what is happening in the country.
Yes.
We must first acknowledge that we've got interest. Interested parties, call it entities, that there's interest with business of universities.
Yes.
Call it the right wings, the left wings, those who are on the center, having interest with the business of universities. And many people want to treat universities as innocent spaces where there is no interest. There's no contestation of space. And Prof. Mokgethi is not an exception in that regard. In a case, you need to understand the politics of UCT and the interest in UCT and who are the main role players at UCT. Once you understand that, you'll understand why she found herself in the space as that. And maybe the question that you are asking about whether she's capable to lead, citing the example of University of Limpopo. We can't take away that she's a leader in her own right. Her performance, in fact, has proven that she can lead because UCT retained its positions, if not improved its rankings, remained the institution that is loved by the people. Perhaps the question that might be put to ourselves is whether, as per what you are saying, those who are in charge of the environment see that person fit to listen to their tune. I think that's where the question is, because there is always that question when recruitments are done. You know, I've been in the space of labor for many years now. When recruitments happen, recruitments are not innocent. For example, in our case, there'll be interested parties within councils of universities, even within communities where university is based. There are interested parties, business people, they are there. There are those who think that the institution belongs in their community, therefore they have got a say, rightfully so as per the legislation and the constitution. But then a bigger question that arises is the interest that they're having for the best of the survival of the institution, for it to be what it needs to be. And sometimes in other institutions, we find that the interests are beyond academic agenda, research, scholarship, community engagement. And they are squarely on business interests, political interests. So that's the reality of many universities that we find ourselves. Therefore, it can happen that the qualified Principal and Vice Chancellor who me and you are convinced, and as per the tick box, are convinced that the person is fit. But in terms of political alignment, the person might be disqualified on the basis of such.
Yeah, so I spoke deliberately about these two women. These are the best two academic women we have. How dangerous is this? How is Forte doing? Forte seems to be, an example of how difficult external forces, external environment would influence academia as an institution, and safety gets compromised and no one comes to your defense. In short, because you speak for the University of South Africa, just explain to us what had happened in Forte, maybe as an example of the thing that could possibly plague Unisa.
Look, the reality of the matter is that there's budget allocation for higher education. You know that you can even take it at provincial level, of course, even at national level. One of the biggest budget allocated goes to institution of higher learning or to education in general. And because universities are supposed to run their affairs via its own council, its own management, therefore there's natural interest by many people for, like I said, political reasons, others for business, financial, economic reasons. And it happens across all institutions of higher learning. And when those interested parties are not satisfied, they then organize themselves to fight universities, to invest in universities, so that they are able to maneuver within the system and benefit within the system. I'll make an example. Everyone knows, because Unisa is a public entity, we are sitting around 22 billion rand worth of reserves, 12 billion rand worth, they might even have increased now, 12 billion worth of investments. We are not speaking of other monies. We've got huge tenders because of how the facilities that we have. You know, we are a national, a global university. We've got a campus, for example, a regional office in Addis Ababa. We travel the world because we are interested in producing quality scholars, research. We teach everywhere. We teach in over 130. Our presence over 130 countries in the world, global. So you can imagine the movement of our academics across the globe. If I had to give you the rands and cents of what our academics spend in doing research, in teaching and learning, in innovation, it's a lot of money. If I were to tell you the money that we spend in maintaining our facilities in operations side, interest is high. If I can tell you, for example, if we were to print, we've got close to 400,000 students. If we were to print, you can imagine the paper that we use on a daily basis, photocopy machines that we use, the phone calls that we make, and put money next to what I'm saying, then you will realize that the interest is huge. And we've got multiple lands that we have that we still need to build. You can imagine what amounts are involved in that. So it is not strange that you have interested parties who naturally, if they think that the council of the university and the management are not doing as maybe they want, they organize themselves as business people, as political, but interested, not parties in a real political party sense, but as individuals entities, bringing themselves together. And to a point that they even use media. They organize beyond they now use media to attack those that they think have are standing on their way to get what they want to do. So those are the realities that you deal with. And you are correct. For there, Because when you say these things, people will tell you to say, but these are theories, these are conspiracy theories, until what happens. And that's when you realize that these things have been spoken about before. They continue to be said, but people think that university is not like municipality, it's not like the SOEs, but they forget that there are a lot of monies that are there within universities, and those who might have been kicked out politically by municipalities, which changed drastically, they go to look into new spaces, avenues of wanting to benefit out of them. And universities, unfortunately, have become such contested space, financially or economically.
I think if you think we are bluffing, like he says, just read this. Just go and Google it. You find academics sitting on boards refusing to go. I'm the one in case, like, go and search Limpopo University, go and search Forte, just to see how difficult it is. Now, Prof, there are lots of allegations against the university, and among things that I wrote here is, I don't know if it's a whistleblower or if it's a Mpimpi or what. It's a lot of things, and that is why you wrote that statement that we've showed our viewers here. There's construction mafia and deliberate leaks. So leaks would mean you've got someone inside the university who's working against the university. You've got allegation that the African National Congress is involved. You've got a committee that seems to be either supporting or not supporting Cyril Ramaphosa's brother, who's a Douglas. And I'm just going to read everything that I prepared here, and I don't know the merits of this. The Thabo Mbeki talk that you guys annually holds there?
Yes.
There are allegations that there were people who were mobilizing students against that thing. I don't know what they were intending to win. University clergyman who owes the university around 1 million. I don't know who's this person. Harassment and judges were extorted, and sexual harassment was used as a bargaining tool. This sounds like it's a typical corporate extortion. And you've got also the chief justices who are targeted based on their tribes. This is big, Prof. And I know you wrote a letter that you are going to unpack for us as your responses. I don't know how you're going to summarize all of those things that you said, but as an institution that you speak for, does she have protection? Does the principal have bodyguards? Is the time to have bodyguards? Because immediately when someone talks about construction mafia, we just think cartel, we just think Mkhwanazi. And by the way, this also involves Mkhwanazi, because there are certain media players who are even linked to harassing Julius Mkhwanazi or writing bad things about you. This is very big. It scares me because, DJ Waras, we just lost DJ Waras. Lena, as a media person, is talking about this. It scares me. Does the the Vice Chancellor of Unisa have bodyguards?
Look, I was actually the first person to tell this to the Principal and Vice Chancellor when she started to work, because she was literally innocent of the space. I said to her, you can't afford to drive yourself. You can't afford not to have bodyguards, because this space has changed. And I was speaking that because, like I said, I've been in the union space for me. I understand the space. She laughed at me and said, no, there's no need for that. I'm at the university. I don't see a need for that. And I said, one day you'll remember my words. And it happened exactly as I said. As we speak now, she has protection.
Very good. Thank you for that.
We were forced by circumstances as the university to, even our vice principals, Because these people sign a lot of, I've given you the value of the rands and cents that Unisa. Imagine if someone is told that you are standing between his check and payment, and the person is told that it's because of the Principal and Vice Chancellor who must sign, she's refusing to sign. And we are talking serious money, so millions of rands. Naturally, you become vulnerable automatically. So she didn't even see a need, only because of experience by circumstances. Then she was forced to adapt. People have been coming, if you listen to a speech of last week when we were doing closing, people came into the institutions with rifles, approaching her. It has happened to other VPs before. People have come, threatened them in their offices. So it's not kind of exaggeration. We are speaking of real things that are happening. And if we were to remove the security and anything were to happen to her tomorrow, the university will be blamed for negligence because we are dealing with such realities. And as a matter of fact, people know the value of a signature. So she must be protected. Her children at home must feel safe because, when you stay at home with a person who signs this, next thing children will be kidnapped to force their mother's hands or their father's hand as people who've got authority. So that's the reality of what we are dealing with. And it is true, we've got multiple projects that are happening across the country. And people have interest. And, projects are stopped everywhere in construction. Our VC is very tough as a person. But then toughness can't be confused with stupidity. When you make decisions and you know that these decisions will be contested, there are people who are interested, then it's important that you must be smart, have protection, adequate protection for that sake, in ensuring that yourself and your family are safe. Of course, I'm saying a family because naturally she must stay with her family. And to expect that where she's staying, the house must be vulnerable. We can't even to start imagining or thinking about that. So it is true that there is there. But the allegations that are there, we also saw them. And, it's a sad state that you see people coming out, doing revelations as whistleblowers. And maybe people take such things lightly as that, think that is a propaganda, until, like I said, there is a photo moment. And only then people will say, oh, this has been there before. But life that is lost can't be returned to life. So it is real that there is contestation. And she, has been attacks since arrival 2021. Attacks have continued to happen. They will not stop, I can tell you that. I always tell them those attacks will not stop until 2030. Of course, it doesn't mean we shouldn't be fighting back. We shouldn't be just sitting and saying it's normal. We will push back. But the reality of the matter is that it comes with the territory. And she must just hang in there until 2030. That's part of, the saying that human life is struggle. And she must understand that concept very clearly.
I don't know which of the allegations you want to tackle first, but I'm going to read from your response as the university. It talks about the appointment of the principal and the vice chancellor. What is it about this that is in the public space that you thought you should write this? Because you do say in your statement that we have shown our viewers that these people who are alleging things, some of them are deliberately trying to attack it, they cannot produce evidence. And you feel these people who are doing this, they're doing deliberately to frustrate the university. And it's a concerted effort that involves very sophisticated means, because it has the media in it, it has media players in it, it has mafias. Let me just stop it there. But just unpack this issue of her appointment.
Look, I think if in the public entities, when appointments are wrong, even in private sectors, they are wrong, we will agree that we've got remedies and avenues available. Can go to the Court of Laws, you can go to the Department of Education, for an example, that's one of them, and you can go to the Public Protector. But as we speak, she has served the full 5 years, from 2021 to 2025. Actually, we are closing it now. Those allegations have been there, and nothing has happened.
A full term.
A full term.
And
in fact, when we thought that it is finished, the same allegation of 2021 resurfaces that she is not fit to hold office. Since 2021, being a full VC for 5 years, you're still saying 5 years after that she's not qualified. It tells you that the allegations have always been consistent. They are malicious in nature.
Just for because we are not all academics here. What does it take to head an institution like that? From just like what would her credentials be? What is she academically, and what is it that you think people must understand? Because maybe people might be thinking she's slay queen, because I'm saying slay queen deliberately, because you would see on social media, Dr. Mokgethi Motlhabi, people just throw slay queen. Just so, because she's a beautiful African woman, they want to dilute her credence, you understand? So yes. What is she? Because if we don't talk about that, it might sound as if we are protected. What are her academic qualifications? What are her experiences that we think this is what meets?
Look, the Principal and Vice Chancellor has taught at Unisa. She's been a lecturer. I hope I don't mix the two, but she has been a lecturer and a senior lecturer at the University of South Africa. I hope the other one doesn't confuse the other one, but I know she has been there as a lecturer, and I think, if I'm correct, a senior lecturer at the University of South Africa. That's where we must start.
Yes.
Beyond that, she then became a director. I think head of special projects, because you're asking me a question that I did, but she was heading in the office of the then Principal and Vice Chancellor.
Okay.
Head in the special projects there in the office of the Principal and Vice Chancellor. Beyond that, she then became a Dean of Students at the University of South Africa. She then later moved to Wes to be Dean of Students. I think it's an executive Dean of Students, if I'm not mistaken, at the University of Witwatersrand, at Wes. She then moved then to University of Free State to be I don't know what they call it, I think it's a deputy rector or vice rector. Remember they use, I think, the rector or something like that. Then after that, came to Unisa to be the Principal and Vice Chancellor. So we are not speaking of a person
who just woke up.
No, she did not just wake up there. And many people I once had a conversation with someone who works at Unisa. Say, no, she's not an academic. I said, she's an administrator. And I said, do you really know her? Say, no, that's what I've been told. I said, this person taught here. She started by teaching here. So I don't know what are you saying. She taught many years here.
So
before she even went to administration, she was a teacher.
Yes.
And from there, then was working here at Unisa to a point that when she left, she was a Dean of Students. She worked in the office of the Principal and Vice Chancellor, and now to Wits, now to UOFs. No one questioned their credentials. across, if you, sometimes we just speak as people, but we don't follow the history of people. So that's who she is. And eventually recruited back to Unisa. But there's a point that we must emphasize.
Yeah.
She didn't appoint herself.
Yes. Rigorous process.
No, there was a open call, public. Everyone who thought that they qualified applied. After the application, there was shortlisting. The shortlisting is done. No one queries that this person
is not fit for purpose.
Not fit, including some of those who are saying she did not qualify. They were part of the process.
Ish.
No one says anything during shortlisting. I think there were about 5 people shortlisted. No one says anything to say this person is shortlisted, but does not qualify. No one.
She comes, she emerges,
she emerges. Only later now people start to say, no, later, she did not qualify.
Do we have celebrity academics? Like, do you have... Did she replace Mandla Makanya?
Yes, he did
replace. Does it have to... because I'm asking myself, does someone have to be very famous academic to lead an institution like that?
No, it shouldn't be the case. What needs to happen is that the person who leads an institution of higher learning must have the characteristics and the profile that will take that particular university elsewhere. You know that you need this person. We are this type of university. We think with this person we will achieve 1 and 3 and 4.
Oh.
And by the way, she has done it. When she arrived, we were sitting at number 12 in the world rankings. We are now sitting between 7 and 6, depending, in the global university world rankings. So, did the council then do a wrong decision? I would say no. If a person found you number 12, put you on 7 and 6, it's not by accident. If the person managed to increase your reserves, almost double it to 22 billion, put your investment up to 12 billion. Those are not accidents. A person sat down, planned carefully, strategized together with Mancom and with the help and approvals of the council and pushed. And that's why I'm saying that she has proven herself beyond any reasonable doubt that she was a rightful person to be appointed by the council there.
You speak of her lasting till 2030. When was her contract extended?
Contract was extended last year, December, because usually in the process of renewal or review of the principal and vice chancellor, you do it a year before.
Yes.
So it was done already, concluded last year, December. It's a closed matter, it's a done deal. So people are just waking up this year, hoping that a miracle will happen. There is no miracle that will happen. The reality is that the process was followed, was done, and she's preparing herself to start the new term in the beginning of next year, 2026 to 2030.
Okay. Corruption allegation, irregular tenders, fraud and financial management. You insist that there are governance protocols that you've always observed in her. Why do you think people are raising issues here?
Look, I will tell you about the basic. First and foremost, Principal and Vice Chancellor does not sit in any tender committee. She does not. Yes, she will approve certain thresholds, but by recommendation.
Yes.
By recommendation from different bodies, including the tender committee.
Okay.
Including, for example, some of the vice principals when needs arise, as per the policy and procedures of the university. But she will never just wake up and sign.
Did she change any of this, or she found rules, she's working on the rule that she found?
No, most of the rules that policies, she found there and procedures. What will happen naturally is not even her who must make that call.
Has she flaunted any of this?
No, I can tell you that. I want to make one example that many people uses as an example. Principal and Vice Chancellor arrives at Unisa. Students and academics or staff, they arrive there, they are supposed to receive laptops. They don't get laptops for 6 months, 12 months, because of disputes and other reasons. She makes a call that, together with PENCOM, of course, when I refer to her, it should always be understood in a collective. Then I'll make a distinction where you need leadership of a person. A decision is made that we can procure laptops directly from service providers like Macro. If it's Macro, wherever you need to go buy, I'm just using Macro as an example. But you can take your allowance, they allocate the allowance to you, instead of us waiting for 6 months, 12 months without getting tools of trade. You just go there, they allocate the money, you come with a receipt, you show a proof that you received it, it's insured, you continue with your life, instead of just waiting. So people were angry because they said, no, but this thing you must go through this process, and it must, if it's allocated to Mashiani, Mashiani is the one who must be a tender holder of these laptops. And if you are thinking, I don't know, by then I think we were having about 100,000 students who were allocated monies by the NSFAS. So let's argue that one laptop is 5,000 rand. And if it's 5,000 rand, what would be the amount? Maybe we need to, because I'm not a mathematician, but if it's 5,000 rand, for an example, times 100,000, I just want to give you the value. If it's gives you 500 million worth.
$500 million.
$500 million of expenditure laptops. So the principal does not even, and vice chancellor does not even look into the value of the amount per se, but looks into how effective is this. If a lecturer is there or a professor is there for 6 months or 12 months, or support staff member without the laptop, and they are being paid every month. Tomorrow, if there are queries, they'll say Unisa staff are paid for not doing anything because they don't have tools of trade. So I'm just giving you the view on what people are not saying when they say other things.
Yes.
So, and they want to treat it as if she's a direct beneficiary of a person going to Macro.
Yes.
Or going to any other shop to buy and bring him back the receipt.
Clearly, there's no link there.
No, she doesn't. Her interest is simple with MENCOM. Give people tools of trade.
Okay. Among the allegations that I tell you that it's very confusing, Douglas Ramaphosa is a gentleman that works with Bukuru. I think he's a director or a shareholder there. And do they say he was opposed in getting an honorary degree, or he was earmarked for it and people fought? I don't understand. What is the story there? Did you guys as the university get to understand what was this links? Because I think someone just threw something deliberately to say Ramaphosa is involved. And I tried to check who's Ramaphosa. Oh, Douglas. Douglas is the guy at Kuru, and is the young brother of Cyril Ramaphosa. What are the links there, and what was he supposed to get from the university?
Look, I just heard about the name Douglas Ramaphosa maybe last week or so. Yeah. I've never ever knew the name, and I don't know the guy. And even his links with Unisa, I don't know any link. If it happens, I wouldn't be knowing by now. But I can tell you for now, it was my first time having an interaction with that name only last week. So, but let me explain to you the process of the honorary doctorates. When a time that time comes. It happens every second year. If it happens this year, it will not happen next year, it will happen the year after next year. So there will be a call by the university. I think it must come from the office of the registrar of the institution. An open call. Then I think staff members of Unisa, if I'm not mistaken, members of SRC, if I'm not mistaken, council members, and convocation. I hope I've not omitted or misrepresented, but just for my memory, are able to nominate. There's a form that you fill in, and there's a seconder, and you fill in why do you think you need to. This person ought to be given the honorary doctorate as an acknowledgement for their contribution in the society and in business in other spaces. It starts there. Then it's submitted to the office of the registrar. Then from there, there's a committee that must see it. I think it eventually is a committee that reports to the Senate, if I'm not mistaken. And eventually the Senate must approve. You know, our Senate is very full. The Senate hall alone is 300 seaters. Maybe we've got over 300, 400 senators at Unisa who must approve the recommendations. I think departments also involved somewhere. And you say, first and foremost, one person sitting in the whole room of professors and associate professors came into the meeting, told them, and they all accept. It goes from there. Council must have a final approval. I think Council of Unisa is close to 30 members. They said also approve one person. The approval is attributed to one person, the Principal and Vice Chancellor. And council members we are not speaking of employees of the university. We're speaking, yes, they are employees representing employees' interests, academic, support staff, Senate, and convocation, but the bulk of our members are external, and it is by design. That's what the statute says, that it must be always, majority of people in council must be external people because you can't control them, you can't threaten them.
Yes.
We are speaking of people who work for different entities who have served elsewhere, who are in their own rights, leaders who cannot be intimidated by a principal and vice chancellor of a university. So I'm just saying that's the process that eventually, when you have that application, it must go all those stages. And I don't remember awarding a Douglas Ramaphosa a degree, an honorary degree, because I've been making a follow-up of them. Maybe I missed it, but I don't remember. In fact, there was a new call done this year. Maybe it's only now that he was submitted, but I can tell you, even if his name was submitted by any applicant, that committee has not said. For this past Senate, it has not said. So we don't even know who has been forwarded as for the application of the honorary. So I think people sometimes they just say things for the sake of tainting people's and their image.
You've got nameless people, and please, man, this is a very dangerous place. Don't name people. It's said to have 2 members of council who are involved with the university. Have yourself as the university find out who, I don't want to call them moles, but people who are not friendly to the university, who are working within to destabilize this leadership, this current leadership of the principal. Do you know who are these moles? Do you know who are these people who are not friendly?
Look, I can tell you that we've got confidence in our council. And it actually is the first time I hear that we've got moles in council. I am not aware of such, because if they were there, I would want to assume that a disciplinary action would have been taken against them, because there are provisions in our statute and to act against any person who acts against or bring the institution into disrepute. So I'm not aware of such, and And I've never said in any council meeting where it was discussed, unless if it was in committee or in a closed session where I was not participating. But from all meetings that I've said, there was never such an allegation.
Ad hoc committee or Madlanga commission, do you expect any person, friendly or not friendly, to present themselves or to go into the Madlanga commission or the ad hoc committee to go and make a presentation that seems to paint Unisa badly? Do you know of any?
No, so far no, except for the letter that we saw being circulated, and with such allegations. But look, I think we've got processes at Unisa. We'll be able to answer anything. And by the way, Unisa will never refuse to attend any meeting or commission or ad hoc committee that invites Unisa to come and answer. We understand that we are a public institution and we are accountable to the public. Anytime, whenever the public wants us to answer, we'll go there. By the way, we have nothing to hide. We've got unqualified audit. All these years of a tenure, 5 years, unqualified audit. So, why would we then panic? Because the audits are there to speak for themselves. Our financial healthy status is there to speak for itself. We spend over 100 million in supporting students in the institution. So, the Principal and Vice Chancellor in a tenure, Unisa bought a farm, experimental farm. We just bought an airport. We are planning to build a hospital, academic hospital for the university. Will that be the intent of a person who's corrupt? Corrupt people, they really don't care about what happens to the health, financial health of the institution when they leave. But the Principal and Vice Chancellor that you are speaking about, she's the one who takes these monies, invests them in these projects, that even beyond the term, the university will continue to benefit out of.
Sorry about that. You're speaking about this great university, and I don't know other universities who does this. I just want to ask, I think for the interest of the viewers, we spoke about and this is the fear of Unisa turning out to be another Forte. I want you to understand that, like I said, I'm an alumni of the university myself. You do know, and I think we kind of touched a bit of this when the last time you were here. There are universities called black universities. Your TEFLOPs, your Forte, Are the things that are happening now that were not happening in apartheid, are the things that you think these are embarrassing for us? Like Forte, the rich history of Forte, to see a university deliberately being banned, and I'm saying allegedly, they say it was deliberately being banned. So you see Forte and Tembisa Hospital as if it's one thing, where deliberate arson it's affected there. Are the things, because immediately when you spoke about hospitals, farmland to be, I'm seeing these are things that we were accused that we do not do with our universities. But universities are doing that. You guys continue doing this. I just want to understand this. Comparing Unisa, would it be a former black university or a white university? Is it with the vets and the roads, or is it with Durban, Westville, and Teflop?
Look, Unisa has always been different because of its nature. Remember, like yourself, it has been an open distance learning institution now, Cordell institution. So it has its own characteristics, different from, and it's the only one, by the way, in the counter. So it has always been different as a public entity compared to others, contact universities. So its character is, it's a cocktail. It's a mixture of this and that and that. But what I can tell you is that the beauty about it is that people have always think that Unisa will be destabilized.
Ish.
But Unisa refuses.
Yeah.
it refused to be destabilized. And that's why I always tell people that all of us will come there and will leave Unisa as is. Because it was never meant to agree to be destabilized by individuals. And we've got the responsibilities as alumni of the institution to protect the image of the university. Because, like I said, it has been 5 years, frankly. People have been accusing the Principal and Vice Chancellor of this and that and that. But there's nothing that... We always make this invitation to people as the university to say, if there is any wrongdoing by the Principal and Vice Chancellor, by members of our management, by any employee of the university, they must come and report such. And we act. Unisa act. Whenever it thinks that you've done something, they activate their policies and procedures. Okay. We do not even think twice, especially when you've done wrong. We do not even think twice. We follow those processes to the latter. But equally, it's unfortunate that the name of the Principal and Vice Chancellor is just dragged the left, right, and center. And people want us to believe, there's a saying that, I think they operate on the basis, they're saying that where there's smoke, there's fire. But they even forget that in our own vernacular, there's a defense for that. Yeah. They're saying that Maru Haisipula, Musikionamule. You can't just see today because it's cloudy, then you decide that there's rain. It can't be. You can still have clouds, but there's no rain. So I can tell you that, in fact, our Principal and Vice Chancellor has a degree, PhD degree in ethics. So she should be knowing what ethics, at least, means and what is expected of her as a leader of this big institution.
This is the last question. This is for the viewers. We've got lots of alumni. I mean, I don't think there's any institution in the African continent that produces graduates like you, and I'm just crossing fingers that is the reason. Convocation. How can alumni of the university participate in such things? I mean, there's very few people who associate themselves with the university. What is the convocation and how can alumni participate in shaping the future of the university?
Look, convocation is a body constituted, of course it's recognized by the Education Act and the Statute of the University. It's a body that consists of the alumni of the university, academics of the university. So together they form such a group called the convocation. And now I forgot the number, but we've got the period, there's a certain period, we elect leaders, the president, and maybe some 2 or 3 members to form part.
Who can become the president?
Any alumni.
But you can be, I suppose.
Why not?
Or why would you be? Because you'll be this side and this side.
It doesn't change the fact that it's even worse for me.
But can you
I'm
imagine?
an alumni and I'm an academic.
Yeah, and you see, that's the problem that I have.
So I qualify. If you want to do that, you must attend the what you call. You must attend the meetings of convocation, annual meetings.
No, I think
you say let's amend.
No. Imagine if
it's not illegal.
No, it's not illegal. But
it's neither unethical.
But you spoke about ethics.
It's not.
No.
Imagine. We can't separate ethics from law, because in cases, what became ethical is because the law had decided. Yeah. Therefore, doing it becomes unethical. And of course, you can argue to say no. Sometimes not everything that is legal it's unethical or unethical illegal.
Can the principal of Unisa become?
She can't, and you know why?
Why?
As a technicality, because she is part of the executive automatically by office.
Oh, she has a seat already.
Yes, just like the registrar. Yeah. By being a registrar, of any university. You are automatically the secretary of the council, the secretary of IF, the secretary of convocation, the secretary of management committee.
Is there a law, now I'm taking a leaf from your argument, is there a law that prohibits her, besides the technicality
No, there's no law. There's no law. But now she has other roles to play.
Let's talk about the ethics again.
Yes. But that one is...
You would think it's unethical, right? To take advantage of...
But there's no law, we agree. There's no law that stops her to be that. But because naturally she's a member, then it then plays with the composition of the curation of the convocation. So she still needs, but remember, she must also report.
Yeah.
Unlike me, I'm just an academic. I'm just an alumni of the university. But it's important that we invite all alumni to participate in that space.
Yeah.
Because sitting at home while we attend this meeting, we make decisions there.
And you come and cry.
And you come and cry because you didn't want to participate.
Yeah.
But beyond that, we want our alumni to be part and parcel of building this a bigger institution, this mammoth task of that we ahead of us. We need to build together with our alumni. They need to contribute. But we know that some of them are in business space. Some are in media like yourself. Some are in politics. We need them to come together in investing, to invest in this university, so that those who come after them should benefit out of their contribution. We shouldn't be having, for example, law students who struggle to get articles, while we've got lawyers who are our alumni in that space. We shouldn't be struggling to get our student internship, while we've got people in our space, alumni, who are business people. We can't be struggling to train our students in political space when we've got alumni we've got the city president, we've got the president of the EFF who's our alumni. We really do not have reasons why we should be struggling. Even in terms of fundraising, like I said, we've spent over 100 million. So this year we've raised at Unisa around, by now, before we close, I hope there's something that came in now, but we're sitting at 105 million rand that we've fundraised as the university. And that money goes to paying for student debts, student fees, registration fees, and also in capacitating our projects, such as the ones that I spoke about. So we fundraise money for that. Okay. And you know, our students, those are the most vulnerable, the poorest of the poorest, we really look after, including the money that we make out of the Unisa shop. We donate certain portion of that money in ensuring that our students are supported financially. So we are looking after our students in that regard. And the SRC can attest, it has also done its own roadshows in fundraising. The convocation for the first time under the current president, Justice Dabambe, raised, I think, close, if I'm not mistaken, 8-9 million, if I'm not mistaken, fundraise that, and that money will be converted into assisting our students. So we need such alumni who comes and say, I have these skills, let me drive the ship, assist the students of the university, assist the direction of the university to be what it is. As we speak, I'm saying we've got 26 public universities. Unisa now standing at 7 or 6 as the Cordell, the only one, performing against all odds with contact universities. And it is still performing, still doing its best under the current Principal and Vice Chancellor.
One last question, and I hope for this one you're going to be very short. What happened to that national dialogue? What happened? You kick-started it, everyone was excited. Lots of English was spoken at the university. What happened to the national dialogue?
Look, remember, we are not active participants.
Yeah.
We just came
as
partners to support because there was a national outcry on the expenditures. We said, look, we've got facilities that can cater for such. We don't need to go and pay other things there and there. But we have these facilities for these 3 days or 2 days for you to come and even for your preliminary meetings, building towards that. Here are the facilities. But our role does not go beyond that. It remains such, a supporting role, availing our facilities. But beyond that, we've got the responsibility as the institution of higher learning to participate in any project that enhances community building and for social cohesion. We can't neglect, because it's even found in the preamble or the founding documents of the Higher Education Act. So that's what we exist for. We do not only exist for teaching and learning and research. We exist to shape the communities. We exist to participate in community projects as a University of Higher Learning. Of course, that's not our bigger chunk of what we need to do, but it is allowed for us to participate in that. And I think that's where we entered and ended. But I think we must also be upfront to say it's unfortunate that certain media houses, such as the City Press, week in and week out, there's a journalist called Mashiro, there's Prega Govenda. They live just to write negativity about university. There's nothing really that they've ever woke up and wrote positively about the university. To say Unisa has paid over 100 million for students, to support students. Unisa was number 12, is now at 7 or 6. They say nothing about the money that we raise for other things, our performance, that we've increased the number of performing academics. Literally, there's nothing that they say, or the investment that we are making in ensuring that our students don't struggle when they want to do practicals of agriculture, on animal health, that we have a farm now, they don't have to struggle with doing practical. They say nothing about that. But rather, they will only... I always make a joke that the way City Press does things, and News 20, is it News 24, reports about Unisa, even if a cat were to die next to Unisa, that will be breaking news for them. A cat died within the precinct of Unisa, within the vicinity of Unisa. It can be breaking news. Because they are obsessed with Unisa, and not because we understand that media has a responsibility to hold us accountable. But equally, we expect that media must be fair in how they report the events of Unisa. Thank you very much, my brother.
Bibi Snokwani is a FEB academic as well. You know, there are a lot of things about this thing that have been said. That's why I was linking the involvement of Mkhwanazi in this, because this Mashiro character has been linked to, they say, was harassing the, because he wrote bad, he gave Mkhwanazi bad press. But I don't know how deep it flows. I hope I was able to paint a good picture for you if you were following these stories of the difficulty in the academic space. But Mashiro Political Correct, I'm going to leave it as that. Am I going to pursue other universities to understand how far this thing goes? Maybe yes, maybe not, but because then I'm afraid I don't want to go down like DJ Waris who gets shot for things. I mean, it's very difficult. Universities are very difficult, and Forte University has actually proven to that. Am I worried about the academics who work there? Yes, I am. I mean, the Forte example will show you how difficult this space is. The commission that you heard about, it's not a fluke. It is serious. Like he says, when someone loses his life and then people want to track back and see securities, this is when actually people say, oh no, this was serious, but unfortunately would have lost a life. Let me leave it at that. Mashiro Political Correct. Prof, thanks for coming.
Thank you very much, Baba.
Thank you.
Sure.